Today on Rappler. The Philippines will grant 2-week visa-free entry to Chinese nationals beginning Friday, January 16. The United States will suspend the processing of immigrant visas for 75 countries. Senator Ping Lacson says former DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan gave the wrong flood control project coordinates to Malacañang. Executive Secretary Recto and former PhilHealth CEO Emmanuel Ledesma Jr. face charges for the 60 million peso PhilHealth fund transfer. And Iran warns it may strike US bases in neighboring countries if Washington intervenes in support of protesters. The Philippines will grant visa-free entry to Chinese nationals for up to 14 days beginning Friday, January 16. The Department of Foreign Affairs says the arrangement will be in effect for a year, subject to review before its expiration in 2027. The new visa rule covers Chinese nationals entering the country for both tourism and business. It is not extendable or convertible to other kinds of visas. The privilege will also only apply to entries via the Ninoy Aquino International Airport and the Mactan Cebu International Airport. Upon arrival, Chinese nationals will only need to show a passport valid for at least 6 months beyond the stay, a confirmed hotel booking, and a return or onward ticket to the next country of destination. China is the latest country that was recently granted visa-free entry privileges by the Philippines. Earlier, Indian nationals were allowed to enter for 14 or 30 days without a visa. US President Donald Trump's administration is suspending processing of immigrant visas for applicants from 75 countries. It will impact applicants from Latin American countries including Brazil, Colombia, and Uruguay, Balkan countries such as Bosnia and Albania, South Asian countries Pakistan and Bangladesh, and those from many nations in Africa, the Middle East, and the Caribbean. The Philippines is not on the list. The pause will begin on January 21. State Department official Tommy Pigott says the agency would use its long-standing authority to bar potential immigrants deemed likely to exploit US generosity. Trump has pursued a sweeping immigration crackdown since returning to office in January 2024. Senate President pro tempore Ping Lacson says former Public Works Secretary Manuel Bonoan had given Malacañang the wrong coordinates to alleged ghost flood control projects. Lacson adds, the wrong coordinates led to a bloated count of ghost flood control projects. Asked why Bonoan would deliberately inflate the number of ghost flood control projects, Lacson said the former DPWH chief may have been trying to cover up his tracks. Bonoan has been in the United States since November 2025, despite saying he would return by December 17. Lacson also says the Blue Ribbon Panel will also look into other new developments regarding the flood control scandal when it resumes its hearings on Monday, January 19. Meantime, a fire broke out Wednesday afternoon, January 14, at the DPWH Cordillera Administrative Region office. The fire originated in a room where records are kept. No injuries and only minimal damage were reported. Executive Secretary Recto and former PhilHealth CEO and President Emmanuel Ledesma Jr. are facing multiple complaints over the state insurer's transfer of 60 billion pesos in excess funds to the National Treasury. The Supreme Court ordered the return of the funds in December, declaring the transfer was unconstitutional. A group of doctors and lawyers filed the cases with the Office of the Ombudsman on Thursday, January 15. Recto and Ledesma are facing charges of technical malversation, graft, plunder, and grave misconduct. The complaint states that Recto and Ledesma exhibited, quote, gross inexcusable negligence in the transfer. In a statement last December 22, Recto reiterated his innocence, citing the SC ruling which says there was no criminal liability on his part as former finance chief. Tehran warns neighbors hosting US troops that it would hit American bases if Washington strikes. This as Iran seeks to deter Donald Trump's threats to intervene on behalf of protesters. 3 diplomats say some personnel in Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar had been advised to leave the main US air base in the region. But there were no immediate signs of a large-scale evacuation of troops as took place in the hours before an Iranian missile attack last year. Trump has repeatedly threatened to intervene in support of protesters in Iran, where a rights group said 2,600 people have been killed in a sweeping crackdown. And that's today's wrap. I'm JC Gotinga. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. For more updates, download the Rappler app.